Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is February 17th, YC 125, and this is the Eve Universe Show. How's it going, guys? It is good to be here. I will say, off the cuff, I woke up this morning, and now I'm the one that's feeling not that great, but just barely. Like I'm just a little bit congested. I'm coughing a little bit, but it's okay. We're gonna get through this. I'm here for you guys, and we have things to talk about. Hi! Alright, so today we are going to talk about stuff. Where it goes, how to find it, you know, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to look at inventory, asset window, the wallet, and market. One of the reasons why we're going to do this, there has been a lot of, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about some of my recent tutorial videos and other, you know, like bringing people back into Eve videos. And so in the spirit of continuing to try to like drill down into things that may or may not be taught by other kinds of tutorials, I figured that this was going to be one of those questions that should be addressed first. I did have a plan to talk about things like industry and stuff, but having hung out in a lot in the rookie channels and all that sort of stuff, I've realized that like how to find your stuff, how to maintain your stuff is something that's confusing to a lot of players, but also there's a lot of advanced techniques that even a lot of experienced players don't really know about. So I hope that this is the kind of topic that'll be extraordinarily useful to relatively newer players, but everyone will be able to find at least something that they learned and are able to implement to make their life better. Because that's what we're here to do. So let's jump into it. We're going to begin with the smallest unit, okay? Here is your inventory, all right? An inventory is when you are docked up, right? Or, well, your inventory is like the stuff that's here. If you're undocked, then it's basically your ship holds. If you are docked, then it includes your ship holds, your ship hanger, your item hangers, and any sort of corporation stuff, okay? So what's the difference between those? Well, a ship has a hold, which has its own space and everything that can carry stuff, obviously. And each ship has its own sized hull, which can be expanded via cargo expanders. It's worth noting that cargo expanders cannot expand secondary holds, but that's more for like the fitting guide. The item hanger represents the stuff that's like in that station, just kind of laying around in the hangar, right? Now, everyone gets a item hanger in every single station, and the item hanger has no size restriction. You can have 1 trillion units of titanium in the item hanger, and it doesn't bat an eye. However, you can also have different containers, right? So as you can see, I have these different kinds of containers that create subsections that I can sort things into, all right? So let's talk a little bit about containers. This is the Eve Uni website for containers, and it shows that there are all the different kinds in their information. So there are basically different kinds of containers. There's standard containers, secure containers, and station containers and freight containers. To me, let's look at it this way. The standard container is what I like to call magic cargo. The secure container, audit secure containers are usually designed for deploying in space, but this is good for sorting out stuff. They can be hauled around, all right. They also provide a lot more security. We'll talk a little bit about the security in a second. Station containers are huge. They're huge enough that chances are you're going to want to build them in the location where they are. Because look, even when they're packaged, they are bigger than can be in all but the biggest, you know, all but hauling ships, right? So pretty much you'll want to make station containers in location where the rest of them package up pretty good. But as you can also see, the station containers are huge, where like the giant secure container can have 3,900 M3, and the enormous freight container can have 250,000. The station warehouse container can have 100 million M3 of space in it. Okay. However, the station containers, like I said, when they're unpackaged, they're as big, if not bigger, most of the time. Oh no, they're not as big. They take up 10,000 meters cubed. sorry, 10 million meters cubed, and can become 100 million. This could be potentially useful if you could actually ship them unpackaged, but they're huge. The better case of this is these standard containers, okay? These standard containers are relatively small. Look, 100 M3, 325 M3, 650 M3. That means that these are able to be carried around in relatively normal ships, right? But yet, they have 120, 390, and 780. So you gain 20% more capacity by using a small standard container over just having normal volume. So you can actually load these shipping containers into your ship to gain a little bit of extra space. Why would you not want to do this? Well, you still need to have stuff in your actual item hanger in order to be able to, not item hanger, in order to interact with something like load or launch something or, you know, use an item. It has to be in your actual cargo hold. Yeah, don't expect to leave ammo inside and just have your weapons auto-load. That's exactly it. In order for ammo to be used or anything like that, it needs to be in your basic item, your ship hold, not in a container in the ship hold. And this is something that we'll see in the other containers as well. Containers have a big downside in accessibility. You cannot contract out of containers. You cannot activate certain things out of containers. You cannot use things like in this case, you know, you cannot load ammo automatically out of stuff from containers, etc. So containers allow you to organize your stuff, but they also provide a certain amount of inconvenience. A really good example of this is that I know a lot of people who use their containers, because you can pull up your containers. Something that I've seen people do is they try to like organize their stuff into like high slots, mid slots, low slots, rigs, you know, all that kind of stuff. Sort their stuff out in all these different categories and have all these different cans, right? But the problem with that is that when you go to multi-fit a ship, which I don't think I can do, or I don't have a ship right now to do that with, but if you go to multi-fit a ship, it asks you which container you want to pull your fit out of. So you can actually pull a fit out of a container, just like you can pull build materials. You know, you can take those kinds of actions and do it out of a container. So like I can go here and like try to build an Imicus, right? And I can say I want it to pull out of the materials container, and I want it to put it into the item hanger, right? So I can pull things out of a can for things like industry and fitting, but it all has to be in one can. I used to put all of my modules in high slot, mid slot, low slot cans, but now I've had to put all of my modules in one can, and I have a version of my fits with no ammo in it, so that way I can fit directly out of that can and then load the ammo into it. So it is convenient, but it's not. But there is a bit of tweaking that is required to do it, you know, to make it work for you. As we're discussing these things and we're talking about size, yesterday we talked a little bit about Photon, and one of the things that was brought up is that Photon, you can't actually see what the M3 is. Well, that's actually not true. If I grab a whole bunch of stuff, you can see that the bar above is actually highlighted, is actually you know, filled up in the same way. So if I uncompact it, you can see that there's this graph and it says the M3. If I compact it, that bar is still there, and if I hover over it, it shows me the M3. So that information is in fact there even when in compact mode. So that's pretty handy. So rather than use just cans to filter all of your stuff, what I actually recommend some people consider is the use of filters. Filters are a very powerful way of looking at your item hanger. You can create custom filters whenever you want, and these are used to, you know, you can basically say they have to be or can't be certain things. So you can say, I want only low-powered or low-slot items, or mid-slot items, or high-slot items. And I can name it high slots. And I can save it. And now, if I need it, I can just go down here and click high slots. Look, I can filter it. So this is actually how I recommend you process a bunch of your stuff. Rather than rely exclusively on containers, using filters is a great idea, okay? Some particular filters that I like, that I recommend. One, I have one that's called not containers. For those of you who don't do programming, an exclamation point before something means not. So I have this one that says no containers. What it does is it takes out audit logs, secure containers, freight containers, secure cargo containers, and cargo containers. Why would I do this? Well, a frequent thing I might have to do with my stuff is I might need to repackage all my stuff. But if you repackage a container, like if I just did a Control A right here, and I went here and I said repackage, all of these cans would repackage and everything in them would spill out all over the item hanger. So I've had this happen many, many times where I'll just Control A, repackage everything, and end up screwing myself because of that. Hence why I've created this filter. If I can go no containers, that removes all the containers. And then I can right click, repackage to my heart's content, and it repackages things and not the containers. Okay? Likewise, if I'm looking for things, I have one that's none of the mods. I have one that's no blueprints. I have one that's no ships, you know, etc. I have one that's only ammo, only big things. I also have ones, I have a filter that's for, oh, I don't have it here. I have one that's only for ore and materials. I used to have one that was for worthless items, but I do have things for valuable items. What makes a valuable item? Well, let's see. A valuable item is something that's worth more than 100,000 ISK per one. Or there's very valuable items. What is a very valuable item? An item that's worth, wait, hold on. An item that's worth more than 10 million ISK per item. These are all things that I have created for myself. I can quickly evaluate my stuff and look at stuff and find them without relying on containers to do all of my sorting for me. So even if I'm like in my main can with all my mods, I can hit my high slot one or whatever to make it so I'm only looking at my high slot mods. That's true. You can also change the way that you view everything. Okay, you can right click, sort by, and sort by all these different things. So for instance, I'm going to sort by name. I'm going to sort by estimated price, whatever. And if it's non-compact, you also have these cool buttons for stack all, view mode, and sort by. While I'm right now looking at everything as icons, one of the more useful ways that people like to look at it is actually through details. And with details, you can see all kinds of cool stuff, and you can click on the headers of all these to filter it. So I can say, okay, I want to see all my most voluminous items. Okay, great. You know, I'd like to type harvestable cloud and get all of my gas. What is that? Is that a group? I've got gas here. It's it's part of group, harvestable cloud. Is there a sub thing? Is it a celestial? Material? Nope, it's not material. It's probably not an asteroid. Is it a celestial? It is a celestial. So then you go here, harvestable cloud, make the new filter, gas. Boom, done. Now I have a filter just for gas. Does filtering an item hold also show what you have stored in containers? No. You would have to go to the individual container and look it up. So like, if I click on gas, that shows the gas here. And then if I go to materials, there's the gas that's there. There's also a setting here that allows you to change whether or not the filters swap when you're swapping between things and showing the sidebar, and there's other customizations for the visuals here. All right, so this is the item hanger. This is the most basic where my stuff is. Now, remember, this is exclusively this specific station. You know, if you don't see something here, chances are it's somewhere else. So let's look at how we can find things. This is the asset window. The hotkey for the asset window is Alt-T. There's personal assets, there's search, and then there's asset safety. Asset safety is something that you really don't necessarily need to worry about for now. It's what happens when a structure gets destroyed. You get to see it there, and this allows you to kind of control your asset safety. But this is not... If something has already finished asset safety, it will not be here, okay? It's going to be a normal asset. So from here in the asset window, you can see everything that you have everywhere. You can sort it by number of jumps, number of items, and you can you can bind it to region, constellation, or solar system. This can be used to see what's inside of containers, but as you can see here, it doesn't work here, right? I can't see what's inside of my containers here under the Personal Assets tab. I can double click on a can to look what's inside of it, and it'll open up an inventory. That also reminds me, by the way, sorry, I forgot. You can take any of these inventory windows and drag them out to make them their own window. So that way you can drag between things and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to have it be one unified window. But let's say I want to look things up in my assets. Well, a good way to do it is to go to the search area. If I go to the search area and I go to the same area, HQ, here you'll see that I have drop-down tabs for each of my containers. So here's all the stuff that's on my item hanger, but then I can also look in my battlecruiser, my battleship can, my destroyer can, my material can, all that kind of stuff. So the search window allows you to see that kind of stuff as well as search. Okay, so I can be like, let me actually see if this works. Yeah, if I search for the word harvestable, then I only get my harvestable clouds, sorted by the number of jumps from me. This search is actually way more powerful than a lot of people realize. If you go to this question mark, you'll see that there's a bunch of advanced search features. You can search by blueprint, category, constellation, group, maximum, minimum security, right? So I can be like, maximum security, 0.4. Boom. So now it only shows all of my stuff that's in 0.4 systems or below. Or I can say, yep, I can look up group harvest in order to pull up those harvestable clouds again. Galand, we're going to get into the most powerful way of checking for stuff in a little bit. We're working our way there. Next thing's next. By the way, if you get asset safety, you can get asset safety from systems, and but the problem is that it's really hard to look inside of these individual cans, right? So let's go titanium, because the chances that I have some titanium in asset safety is pretty high. No? I don't know what I have in asset safety then. All right, well, don't worry about it. This does bring up an interesting problem, or there are certain things that you cannot search for here. Let's talk a little bit about restrictions. So 2 problems, all right, that we've gone over so far. 1, this item hanger. So we went over the fact that we can have containers. We went over the fact that containers can cause some problems, and we went over the fact that filters fixes some of those problems. So it begs the question, why does Ashtarothi have containers, right? Like, if filters are so good, why do I have containers? Well, there's actually is a restriction on item hanger, which is the fact that you can only have 999 items in any given space. So I don't have these containers aren't here because I need the extra M3 or because they make me orderly. It's because, especially thanks to blueprint copies, I have more than 1,000 individual items inside of this station. So if I was to, say, collapse all of my containers, I actually literally could not add new things to my item hanger until I got it sorted, because I'd be over my 1,000 limit. This is a huge restriction, and especially when you go up to scale. So that is the biggest reason why you definitely want to use containers, is to make sure that you keep things under that limit if you need to. All right? But let's talk about the asset search restriction. I can't search for, let's see, asset safety stuff I think I can search for if I look for it directly and it's in an asset safety can. But like, if a frigate is in a frigate escape bay, really if anything is in the cargo of a ship, I can't search for it in game, period. Where do you get containers? Just buy them. They're built just like everything else. You can get the BPOs, you can, build them real quick. So how do I fix this, right? The in-game tools work, but not quite as much as I would like to. I would like to introduce you to my good friend, J-Eve Assets. This is J-Eve Assets. Here's the link to J-Eve Assets. Okay, so what does J-Eve Assets do? J-Eve Assets allows you to pull in your characters and track all of their stuff. All of it. All of it, all of it. A couple reasons why you might want to get it. First of all, I do want to start out by saying, like, this is a really cool thing, every single time you pull your assets, it pulls the value of your assets. So you end up with this really cool graph in the end that shows you, you know, your money going up and down. And, you know, I can filter out all of the different things. So there's just Asherathi's wealth. There's just Mortis's wealth, Invictus's, etc., right? That's really cool. And I can check out my assets, but there's other tools too. So like, here's my totals and everything. That's cool. If I want to find something specific, this allows me to look for it with basically the exact same filters as I use on the filter window, but it looks for things everywhere, right? So if I look for, let's say I have a Daredevil, and I don't know where they are right now. I can look up this. Now, the problem with this is you can see there's a bunch of stuff that isn't a Daredevil here. The problem is that because I said get everything that contains the word Daredevil, it's going to get everything that even is contained inside of a Daredevil. So I can fix this in a couple of ways. I can either change it to name, so now it shows just the Daredevils, or I can change it to, I can add the word ship here, so now it's only pulling up the Daredevils. Here's a great example. Here I have a bunch of magnates. Here's all my magnates. And the important one here is actually this one right here, hybrids, right? You can see that it is contained in Triglavian diplomacy, which is my Vindicator in this system, okay? So the problem is that if I just wanted to find this magnate and I did a search for it in-game, it would not come up with it. But by using JEV assets, I'm able to find it regardless of where it is. Likewise, if I want to find all my Helas or whatever, right? I can see like, oh, look, these Helas are left in this asset safety wrap. So I'll be able to find things in asset safety as well. JEV assets will be able to find stuff for you wherever it is, okay? So you've got your item hanger, you've got your asset window, and then you've got JEV assets. Those are your 3 tiers of tools to help you find your stuff. We can just show info on one of these, go to industry and see like, look, it's just some tritanium, some pyrite, and some mexilon, which you can pretty much get anywhere. Yeah, station containers are almost always built in place. Like I said, they're so big, they're hard to haul, even when packaged. That's kind of how to manage your own stuff, how to find stuff. You can set destination to things. So let's say I find my stuff. I need to go here. I can always right-click, set destination to go there, right? But let's say I have stuff in a box. That's actually a good example. So if I go to here and sort by number of jumps, I can go to Valor, Black Market. I choose you, Market and Industry. Great, cool. So let's say I lose access to I choose you, Market and Industry for whatever reason. Let's say this isn't just a public area, it's a place where I am, it gets locked out, right? I'm locked out of this place. I can't dock here anymore. Or maybe I just don't want to bother with the stuff that's here, right? Maybe this structure's under attack and I need to get this stuff out of there. I don't want it to drop, you know, whatever. Or maybe it's about to go abandoned, for example, right? Because if it goes abandoned, then it drops without going into asset safety. So I can't just right-click an asset safety an individual item, but I can right-click and move all items to asset safety. You can do this in any player structure with your stuff at any time. So I'm going to click that. It's going to drop it in asset safety. And now I can come into here, and you can see this is what the asset safety window shows, right? So basically, it says that in 5 days, I'm going to be able to do a manual delivery to somewhere else within the system, or in 20 days, it'll do it automatically. If you're delivering to somewhere else within the same system, it only is 0.5% in cost to pull it back out of asset safety. So it's like trivially cheap to do it this way. However, if you have no other structures within the same system, and therefore it has to be asset safetied out of the system, then it'll go to the nearest low-sec system, and you'll pay 20% of its value to pull it out of asset safety. So that's how that works. You can fit a ship out of any container, yes, but only one of them. Once again, if a fit can't find everything that it needs in a container, it's just going to fail. Okay, So that's stuff. All right. Now let's talk money. Have I gone over everything with stuff? I think I've gone over everything with stuff. So this is your wallet. All right. You have a corporation wallet and, oh, I forgot. No, never mind. I'm not done with stuff. You not only have your stuff, you have corporation stuff. A corporation can have offices in a station. As long as it has an office, then it has these different divisions. Now, a division is not a container, okay? If I go into my corporation management window, I swear to God, the rest of my people in my alliance are like pulling their hair out with how much stuff I'm showing. Edit detail? Divisions. So yeah, if you go to the My Corporation, to Details and Divisions, you can see I can name my wallet divisions and my asset divisions. So as opposed to containers, which you have to put into each individual station, every single corporation office that you have will have all of these divisions. And that's important because you can have your members have different roles, which this is a whole different other tutorial. Like, if this, don't even worry about this one. I can give container access to individual divisions, to individual people or titles. Okay? So like I can say that a person can access the industry division anywhere. Or I can say that they can only access the industry division in the place that I assign to them as the headquarters, or, you know, whatever else. So these divisions can be incredibly powerful when it comes to maintaining your, you know, organization and trust within the group. And a division can also have containers of their own. Why would you do this? So this goes back to that security thing, okay? Remember how I said that there's secure audit containers? This is why those are important. If I have a rogue spy and I give them access to a division, like this members hangar is pretty well not, pretty much everybody gets access to this members hangar, right? So if I put these atmospheric gases into members hangar, a lot of people, like most of the alliance right now, could actually just pull these atmospheric gases. But here's the issue with that. I have no way of knowing who pulled those atmospheric gases. If I steal these, it's like they were never there. There's no way to look. There's nothing there, right? However, in these cans, because these are secure cargo containers, I can actually look and see... Nope, these aren't audit containers. Darn it. Here we go. So I have an audit container. So I could go here and say, view log. So here, I can view when things happen. But wait, hold on. If I steal this Abaddon blueprint for my own can I then go and see that in the log? No, I can't. Well, what good is this? Well, here's where it gets good, okay? You can come here, highlight everything, right-click, and lock them, okay? Now, when I go to the audit, you can see them all get locked. So if you ever notice that your alliance has a bunch of stuff that's locked in their container, that is actually not necessarily even stop anybody from taking it, because you might be able to just go in here, right-click, and unlock the item. Oops, pick a single one, unlock it, and then move it. Why do I do that? Well, because now, if I open up the container audit, I can see, hey, look, one blueprint was unlocked by Mortis Astarte. That's the last person to lock it. So you can't see things being taken, but you can see things getting locked and unlocked. So again, this is all about trust, especially when it comes to corporations and alliances and stuff. You can put on a password, you know, if I have an industry thing and I can have multiple different containers, right? Like, let's say I have this container here and I want my buddy Calrissian to be able to build stuff out of here, but not others, right? I can go here and I can set new password. Hold on, I need to get the old password. Right click, retrieve password. I don't actually understand what the hell it just said. Hold on. Set new configuration password. Oh, okay. Never mind. I don't have a configuration password. Retrieve password. General password. Configure container. So now I can say that items put into the container are automatically locked. You need the password for opening the container and unlocking items and viewing the log. Okay? People can lock it no matter what, but in order to unlock items or view the log or open the container, they need the password. Done. Okay? So now I can take those atmospheric gases. For a second there, I thought somebody actually stole the atmospheric gases. I can take those atmospheric gases, put them in this container, right? They're put in automatically. And to look at it, I need to now put in the password. If I put it in wrong, it doesn't let me do it. Right? I can't access anything. General password required. Can't do anything. Can't do anything. But if I put in the password, I can unlock it. That's just a little bit of how to keep things safe, how to keep things managed, how to keep things orderly. All right? One last thing. If for some reason something gets delivered, like by a contract, what happens if you forget the password? As you saw, because I have authority as the CEO, and there's other roles that can control this too, I can pull the password whenever I want to. I can be like, hey, you box, give me your password. But if somebody was to, like, steal the container, they wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. Malak is sitting here face-palming and being like, oh my god, I'm going to have to change all the passwords now. Sorry, Malak. One more thing. Let's say I have a contract. I can't think of a good example of how I can trigger this. Either way, let's say I have something hauled here, for example. Or, oh, I got it. Here. Calrissian, please deliver that to me. So as you can see, that actually is an interesting point too. You can trade things if you're in the same station with somebody by just dragging it and dropping it on top of them. And that's for free. Otherwise, you're going to need to contract them, which is a whole nother thing. We're not going to talk about that right now. I have items. I can go here, like for instance, and I can say, okay, well, these Fullerite, right? I can right click and I can say deliver to, and I can put in Calrissian, and now it's sent over to him without any problems whatsoever. No trade, no nothing. Okay. Where does it end up? In this box right here, deliveries hanger. So if anything ever gets, like, if you use like a shipping contract or something along those lines, this is where it ends up. It'll end up in the deliveries hanger. This is another one of those things, by the way, that's kind of hard to search. So you might be able to find it in your, if you find something that is in your assets, but not necessarily, like when you go there, if you like search for something, you see it in your assets, and then you go there and it's not there in your item hanger, check your deliveries. There's a pretty good chance that it's there. Also corporation deliveries. If you run a corporation, I find the craziest shit in corporation deliveries. Yes, if you want the new password, just send 500,000 ISK in unmarked ISK in equal plex to Arydanika. She'll take care of you. Just like all of the other containers, the corporation delivery hanger is not audited. Do not leave things just hanging around in corporation deliveries hanger. Even though, again, as a corporation leader, you might want to keep an eye on that because things end up in corporation deliveries for the oddest reasons. Right. A lot of IBIS is in corporation delivery hanger. So when a person within your corporation biomasses, their stuff ends up being delivered to the corporation. That's why you have a bunch of ibises and other garbage in your corporation delivery folder. Now then, the wallet. Let's talk about what we can get out of the wallet. We have overview, transactions, market transactions, my shares, auto pay, and give ESK. Okay, great. Overview. Overview is just kind of fun. It allows you to visually see your stuff. You can click on individual areas in order to break it down further. It's kind of cool. I do personally find that most of the time this ends up just getting blown out because of trade or whatever. It'd be kind of nice to be able to, like, remove trade or something like that. But yeah. Transactions shows you every single transaction that you get in or out, right? When you get bounties, when you get people trading to you, all that sort of stuff. You can search, you can sort it by different types. So here's only the ones that I get from trading from people. Here is people sending me ISK or me sending them ISK. Here is market escrow, you know, whatever, right? And then, of course, there's different time periods that you can look at. However, this won't show you what it is that was bought. It'll show you who. This is actually an interesting thing. If you see a bunch of stuff on the market, you can buy one item and see who it is that is selling it. right? This will tell you who it is that's buying and selling your stuff. And then if you want to know what it is that they're buying and selling, you would match it with your market transaction over here. If I go to date and I go to transactions here, I see 420,000 ISK to this guy. And I can look here and see, oh look, he bought Tritanium. He bought 100,000 Tritanium. That's why. So that's what those two tabs do. My shares is kind of black. This is for like corporation shares, which is not within the scope of today's video. Automatic pay. So this is especially like if you're in nullsec. Jump bridges and the like take money. Or rather, jump bridges and the like take fuel in order to let you jump through them. So a lot of groups will put a fee on the jump bridge to help pay for the fuel. What this allows you to do is basically say, hey, if the jump bridge is less than this amount, don't even ask me. So if I check this and I say, okay, well, this is 1 million ISK. Now, if the jump bridge is less than 1 million ISK, it won't even give me a pop-up window. I'll just be able to jump through it as if it was a Stargate. It'll take the 1 million ISK, but whatever. This way you can balance between what you don't want to be bothered with and not being scammed. You can, decide how you want to do that. Giving ISK is fine. You can just put in the character name, blah, blah, blah. You can also just right-click a character and give ISK or a corporation or whatever. So that's ISK. Plex, obviously, Plex is the premium currency. This isn't overly useful here because the real way to get Plex out is to go to your your inventory and then go to the Plex vault. Once you're in the Plex vault, you can click and drag the Plex out to make it into a physical item. So that's how to make, like if you want to move something around or sell it or trade it or whatever, that's how to do it. And then you can also right click and move to Plex vault. Okay, but this is more just to let you know what's going on and to take basic actions with your Plex. The other two are LP. Evermarks are the LP used for customization of ships and such. And the LP is the normal one. So LP is loyalty points. Loyalty points are kind of like your frequent flyer miles for doing stuff for different corporations and such. This will allow you to see all the different kinds of LP that you have, and also the closest place to be able to spend your LP. If you want to know how to spend your LP, you of course go to like Fuzzworks or another tool like that to figure out what is valuable and sell it that way. Corporation wallet is very much the same, except for you see that there's bills. There's like an archive of bills. It tells you what wallets to get out of, etc., etc. There's a transaction thing, but in the way that there are multiple divisions for an office, there's also multiple divisions for the wallet. So we have master wallet, capital, like we have these different ones, and you can name them however you want. And you can see all of the divisions in the divisions tab, like that. You have one division that is your active division. So like right now, my active division is industry. So if I was to do something, it would be as industry, right? If I was to buy something as a corp or whatever, I'd use the industry wallet. I can switch which active wallet I have by right-clicking on it and say set as active wallet. Likewise, I have the market transactions and all that kind of stuff, the same thing that I have on the personal wallet. I can also look at the shareholders of the alliance. So right now, Keltoran Row is the one that's the major shareholder. I should probably fix that. And we can also see what our wallet is and our Evermarks are. In settings, you can change when it blinks. You can show whether or not it shows ISK in cents. It shows live balance out updates. It says, so if you only gain, let's say there's a bunch, let's say you're a streamer. If you are being harassed by people sending you 1 ISK at a time, just constantly, just bing, 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 1 ISK, 1 ISK, 1 ISK, 1 ISK. You just sit here and go like, okay, well, now you got to send me 11 ISK. What now? So now if somebody was to send me like 10 ISK, it wouldn't even show up as a notification, but 12 ISK would. Pretty simple stuff when it comes to your money. All right, now for one of the bigger ones, the market. Now you want to send me 12 ISK? Go for it. One thing that's worth taking time to talk about is the fact that everything in EVE has a physical location. As we talked about in asset window and item hanger, things are in a specific station. Likewise, markets are within specific stations as well. This is why you want to go to a trade hub like Jita or Dodixie or Amar if you're looking to get a lot of stuff or like fit up your ship or whatever, because you can only buy stuff that's within the same hangar or item station as you. By the way, since there's talk about this, yeah, never move Plex in your cargo. You can always use it in the Plex vault. And it gets pointed out that skill injectors are the same way. This is actually true for pretty much any Plex product. So skins, skill injectors, etc. All of that stuff can be done remotely. This is actually one of the reasons why I've started leaving my skins on the item in the item hanger instead of in a container, is because you can't contract out of a container. So if I need to contract somebody a skin, it needs to be in the item hanger. Oh, there is one solution though. Let's say I am not here. Hey, I just got 13 ISK. Yes! My plan went swimmingly. So here is my other can. Let's say I need to contract to somebody these Hail BP blueprints. I'm not here right now, but I need to contract these Hail blueprints out. So let's actually look. Let's do this for real. I'm in my asset window. I can go search. I can see in the others. Oh look, there's the stuff I need. Okay, there's my Hail. But if I want to contract it, I can't. The only thing I can do is lock it or unlock it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come up here, right-click the can, and repackage it. You remember earlier how I said if you repackage a container, it spills out all of its contents onto the item hanger? But nothing seems to have happened. Why? If we look into the top right-hand corner, we'll see this little thing here that says, this information only updates every 5 minutes. So this container right here doesn't exist anymore. I can verify it. If I come here, there is no more other container. And if I come here to the item hanger, oh look, there's all of those BPCs and BPOs on the item hanger, right? If I wanted to put it all back, I'd have to go here, open up another station container, rename it, right click it, set name to other. Then I can go back in and I can grab BPOs and BPCs. Oh, never mind. I can move those in, and I can move those in, whatever, cool. And now they're back in. But if you do that collapse the container thing, then that allows you to then wait for this to refresh. Sometimes I'll log out and log back in to force a refresh. But once it's refreshed, then you can contract out of there. Or just dock and undock. Docking and undocking fixes like 90% of problems when it comes to these kinds of things. That's correct. The market. The market is the lifeblood of the game. Each market has an individual area. So like, let's say I want to get antimatter, right? If I want some antimatter, you can see, okay, so there are what's called sell orders and buy orders, okay? All of these orders are made by players, both buy and sell. Now, not all orders are made by players. If you want to tell the difference, here's the difference. I can go to blueprints, and I can look up the antimatter there, and you can see, you notice how these are all the same price, but more importantly, look at these expiration dates. 324 days, 299 days, 330 days, 347 days. And yet, if I come to the actual ammo, I see dates like 89 days, 17 days, 8 days, 21 days. What's the deal there? Well, the longest that a player can make a market order for is 90 days. 3 months. But an NPC order can be 300 days. So that's a really good way of quickly identifying NPC orders versus player orders. But for the most part, most things that you're going to be dealing with are player orders. So let's talk about the difference between buy and sell orders. A sell order is basically, I have an item and I want to sell it for this much. If you're willing to spend that much, then you can buy it. A buy order is, I want this item and I'm putting up this much money to buy it. If you have it and want to sell it, you can sell it to me for that much. You can put up both buy orders and sell orders. Now here's one of the biggest kickers that people don't necessarily know, especially as a newer player. If you just go to the market and you right click and you say sell this item and then hit sell, you've actually probably only sold it to the highest buy order. And while this is not indicative of the way it always is, we can see even here in the antimatter, the sell order is 60 million and the buy order is 30 million. You know, obviously we're in the middle of nowhere. This isn't a trade hub. Trade hubs will have much tighter margins, but here you can make the evaluation of whether or not you want to buy it off of a sell order directly, or you want to put up a buy order to hope it gets fulfilled by somebody else. Likewise, if you have an item, you can either put it up for sale or just sell it instantly to the highest buy order. And that highest buy order could be pretty low, depending on how volumes are looking. So it's worth checking whenever you sell things for that. So likewise, if I, or to that end, if I go to sell this item, if I go here and if I click on this arrow, like let's say I'm selling multiple items, right? I want to sell all these things. I think I can't sell that data core. Maybe. I now have all of these different items to sell. I can go individually and click on these arrows to pull up the market details for those items. Now, like none of these are going to have market info because they're all like random crazy stuff. So that's a good way to quickly check, and then you can change your prices before you sell. When you sell, you can choose whether or not you want to do it immediately, day, or up to 3 months. You pretty much never want to do anything besides immediate or 3 months because you pay the same amount no matter what. You might as well put it up for as long as possible. Immediate means that you're only willing to sell to buy orders. If I click on immediate, you'll see that all of them turn red. Why do they all turn red? Because there's no one buying those items. If I go to Tritanium and I sell, and I set it to immediate, if you notice, it's not red, but the number is. Because if I go here, you can see that the buy order maximum at 3.72, there's only about 70,000 units to be bought. So if I put this to 60,000 units, sorry, 60 million. Oh, maybe it's only the top one. Oh yeah, because the other one's 7. So here I've got 999,999. I have 50 million Tritanium, and I'm trying to sell them at 3.72. But the problem is this person's only buying 49 million, right? I don't have enough. So either I can move this down to 49 million, or if you notice, if I sell it for 3.71, there is more than enough to supply it. So if I go here and I change it from 3.72 to 3.71, now the color went away, or the error went away. So now I can sell all 50 million of them at 3.71. But here's the interesting thing about this. It's worth noting that what this will do is it will sell 49 million units to this top order at 3.71. And then it'll sell the rest to this order at 3.71 as well. So even though this guy put up an order for 3.72, if I agree to sell it at 3.71, it will sell to him at that lower rate. Likewise, if I decide to buy something, right? Here we go. There's some Tritanium for sale here. Let's say I want to buy the Tritanium. I'm going to right click, buy this. It's 4.2 ISK, but let's say I accidentally fat finger this and I pay 42 ISK. Say I do this. Now, obviously 42 is over 4.2, so it's warning me that it's way above the regional average. I'm only selling one of them. I'm going to sell it to this order. I'm not selling to this order, I'm buying from this order. If I hit buy, now, if I go here, you'll see, oh, I bought the one unit. It's now 060, so I bought it from him. But let's look at the wallet to see what happened. If I go to my transactions, you'll see I spent 42 ISK. And if you look at the transactions, I bought 42 ISK. I bought Tritanium for 42 ISK from myself. So what that means is that if you accidentally fat finger, if you pay too much, it will pay whatever it is that you said you're going to pay. If I wanted to get enough and I'm willing to pay 4.5 and I need like all of this, then it will pay 4.5 even to the lower amount. Same with buy orders. Let's look at the actual market orders that are up. So here you can see my market orders buy and sell. I don't have any buy right now. Let's put some up, right? Let's say I want to get Zydrine. I need Zydrine. I'm going to put up a buy order. There is none for sale in the station. There's one order of buy for 1.6. Or sorry, 1,600 ISK per unit. All the sell orders are at 3.6. So I'm going to place a buy order. I'm going to set my bid price to being just over the current ones, 1.611. I'm going to set my quantity for 50,000, minimum 1, maximum duration, range station. If I click Use Corp Master Wallet, then it will both pay for the items out of the Master Wallet, and when this order is fulfilled, the items from the sales will end up in the corporation deliveries hangar. And I can also remember the settings, so that way it does it the same way next time. So I hit buy, and you can now see that there is a buy order right here, which is mine, and you can see my buy order here. So these orders here allow you to quickly check all your different things. I can see all my different ones. I can see what system they're in, all that kind of stuff. And you can right click on them. Actually, you can double click on it to pull up the actual station thing. So we can see that there's some people that are charging the same amount as me, but are somehow higher up on the thing. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to right click, modify my order, bump it down 1 notch, and hit OK. Now, my order is the top order, which is what I want. Likewise, I can come here, double check all these different things, modify order 4850000, then hit down, enter. So I can quickly check over all of my different orders. I can see how much of them are still up, all that kind of stuff. What if I buy with the multi-buy function and I clear multiple sell orders? Do you still pay too much? When you buy with multi-buy, it buys from the buy orders, and it just keeps on, like, what it'll do is it'll buy all that it can, and then it'll say, like, it'll pop back up another set of them. Let me see if I can actually make that happen. It's going to be hard for me to find multiple things up for sale in the same way. Okay, here we go. If I want to do a multi-buy, I drag the ammo in here, and then I set it to, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to do this. 49,214. How much is that? Okay, I don't want to spend 300 million to prove a point, but what it'll do is, if I spend more than this, what I believe it'll do is fulfill that order with what's there, and then basically like re-add it to the buy item window with the quantity that remains. It'll only try to fulfill all of the ones it can at the current price point, and then kick back all of the rest. Likewise, actually, that's a really good point. If I go here and I say, okay, Tritanium, right? Once again, if I go to market orders, I see that there's a buy order for Tritanium. These are too big. All right, whatever. I'm going to put up a buy order for Tritanium for 3.8, or actually, sorry, 4 for 50 of them. So now I have a buy order up at 50 units. Well, let's say I sell this, and I sell 51 units at 3 months. What's going to happen is it's going to fulfill that order and add one more at the end. Boom. As you can see, my buy order is gone, and my sell order for 400 has 1 item left. And if I go to my market orders, you'll see that my Tritanium has 1 out of 51 remaining. This is kind of important because of who pays the fees. Let's talk a little bit about the tax man. All right, broker fees and sales tax. The broker's fee is due on order creation for all non-immediate orders and is based on the percentage of the total order value. Starting at 3% of the order value, the skills broker relation skills reduces the fee by 0.3% per level. In addition, increased standings from the NPC station where the order is placed may reduce it by up to another 0.2% with maximum standing. And good standings with the owner's faction can reduce the fee further by 0.3% to a minimum broker fee of 1% of the order value. This results in the following formula, blah, blah, blah. And then there's sales tax. Sales tax are due after the item has been sold and are payable by the seller. This will be automatically deducted from the sales transaction and start at 8% of the sales price. This percentage can be reduced down to 3.6 through the accounting skill. All right, what does that mean? In this world, let's look at that transaction I just did, okay? When I put up the order for the Tritanium, if I put up a buy order, it has a broker's fee, right? It has a minimum of 100 broker's fee. So when I put up the order, I paid 100 ISK to put up that order. And then when that order was fulfilled, 7 ISK out of the fulfillment was taken out in taxes. So broker's fees are paid when you list the thing, and transaction fees or transaction taxes are taken out when the thing is sold. Why does this matter? Well, you can always put, as you can see, we can put up buy orders and sell orders. The person that puts up the orders is the person who pays that broker's fee. This is a big thing. if the margins between things are too small, right? Like a lot of people, sometimes people will be like, oh man, I can buy a whole bunch of stuff on buy orders and then flip it around and sell it on sell orders. This is what's called market arbitrage. And that's great. However, when you put up the buy order, you're going to pay the broker's fee. And then when you go to put up the thing in the sell order, you're going to pay the broker's fee again. This is why that selling to immediate is so valuable, right? Like if I come here to the Tritanium and I want to sell it, I have to pay 9 million ISK to put this Tritanium up. Now, granted, it's 1.8 billion ISK worth of Tritanium, but basically, regardless of what happens, when I put it up, it's going to cost me nearly 10 million ISK. Then it's going to cost me more ISK in broker fees every single time I want to try to update its price. Like if I come over to my market orders and I see the Tritanium that I already have up for sale, and I want to modify this order, even if I want to modify it by like 1, I have to pay that broker's fee again. Let's do the big one, modify. If I bump this up by 1, look at this. I have to pay a broker's fee of 2 million ISK just to compensate for that change in price. I, as the lister, have to pay that price. However, if I'm coming in and I'm selling, and I sell only to the sell order immediately, look, that broker's fee disappears. I no longer have to pay the broker's fee. I only pay the sales tax. However, I can't sell it all. If you notice, not all of it sells. Why? Because there's not that much there. So let's go with 40. Boom. So there you go. I can sell 40 million Trit for 140 million ISK and have 5% or 5.3 million ISK sales tax, but no broker's fee. Because that broker's fee was already paid by the person who listed the buy order. So that is the big thing, right? Like there's this gamble, and that broker fee is based on the price. So if you put up some big expensive thing and it doesn't sell, you're out that money. Does any of that make sense? Is there any questions so far? Right. If people are doing a multi-fit, chances are they're just going to be buying from buy orders. A couple of other big tricks, all right? Let's say that there is, so here is the quick bar, okay? I have items in my quick bar, right? So like I do reactions. Here is all of the PI that's required for reactions. Bacteria, industrial, well, I don't know why I have industrial sinusoidal there, but bacteria, oxygen, protein, water. And you can make new folders here. I can say like, okay, well, let's go with minerals, minerals, right? And then I can go back to browse and I can go to manufacturing, materials, minerals, right? And I can go one at a time and say add to market quick bar, add to market quick bar, add to market quick bar. There's probably a quicker way to do this, but whatever. Now they're all in the quick bar, and I can go here, and I can move them all into minerals, and now I can check. Now I can quickly just address all these things. So if I have a build, if I suddenly need things, like let's say, oh shoot, I want to keep track of this. I think I can just drag things into here. Can I do that? Does that work? Will that work? No. But I can right-click on it, and I can say, view market details. Oh, boo! It's not that easy. I'd have to search for it. And then add market quick bar. So then you can always look for it. But here's the cool thing about the market quick bar, okay? Here's your big trick. You see this thing at the bottom? This ticker that most people ignore? It's got stuff like there's the large skill injector, there's hypercores, here's Mexilon. It keeps track of things, right? But like, I don't care about hypercores. Do you? I don't want to keep track of that. I may want to keep track of robotics, but I don't care about hypercores. So how do I control what's on this ticker? Well, if you right-click one of the folders, you can mark it as the market ticker folder. So now, my ticker is all of the minerals. So it's just sitting there letting me know what mineral prices are doing, just kind of passively in the background. That's pretty handy in my opinion. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? There are filters. You can have it show only available, which will make it so that things that are not within range won't show. You can filter it. Now, the range filter kind of only matters if you're showing only available. You can also filter by your skills, filter by CPU and power grid, filter by untrained skills. in order to try to make it so that you can find what you need. In addition, whenever you're looking at something, you can always click on this to open up the group that it's in. I guess this is, oh, cool. I didn't even know about this. So I can look at this and say like, okay, well, I only want things within 2 jumps of here. Can I do that? So yeah, if I want to filter it so that way I only see certain things, this will make it so that I only see certain prices, only see things that are a certain number of jumps away, only see it if there's enough quantity, only see it if it's in high sec, low sec, or null sec, etc., etc. So this is actually a pretty cool filtering system too that I didn't even know about until just now. So you know, if you want to not accidentally buy some stuff in low sec because it's a honey trap, then you could just uncheck low sec and not see your low sec orders when you're trying to buy something. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Anything else? I don't think so. That should be about cover it. So what we've been over today is just kind of everything when it comes to stuff. Your items, your inventory, your asset window, how to search for things, what tools to use, how the market works, and how to interact with it. You know, obviously we didn't teach you how to master the market or anything like that. That's a whole nother topic. This was just mechanics and UI. So I hope that was very handy to all of you. I hope you learned something. If you did, or if you have any other like cool tips that I may have missed, because this was I kind of staggered through this one a little bit more than some of the others. Go ahead and leave your comments down below with your favorite tip, either the one I gave or the one that you have that I didn't give. And thank you guys all for checking out the stream, and thank you for all of the supporters and everybody who comes and shares the videos and supports, becomes members, patrons, etc. Especially my co-designers Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arydanika the Queen, BlackRoseNoble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, GuldanAgeStories, J. Kuhn, LM1, Malak Starfire, Midnight Space Monkey, Not Just Fun, Seeds of Plenty, Stranolin with No Eyes, Syliana Vel'ash, Nephilim, Grendel, and Zaul Nex, as well as my Immortal tier supporters, Eboleet and Rid. Thank you guys so much. If you want to join them, you can always just, for just $1, you can become a member on the YouTubes or a patron. Either way, you should get access to the supporter chat and a bunch of other stuff, including, you know, I talk to my supporters about what I should do, etc., etc., and it's what allows this all to be possible. So, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and until next time, I'll see you in space.